Good day, viewers. This is a homemade steady rest for my 6-inch Atlas lathe. I made it about 30 years ago, and it's done a decent job, but there's a few modifications I'd like to do on it. Basically, the angle iron that I used to mount to the bed for the upright part of it is 1/4-inch angle iron, and I've noticed sometimes when I'm using it there'll be a little bit of a flex, being as there's no real support between here and here. So I want to try and add something for that. The other thing I'd like to do is drill a couple of 1/8-inch indexing holes that I can add pins to, so that if this ever has to be removed, then it will go back in exactly the same spots, so the center of this is centered in relation to the headstock. The knurls on the knobs just aren't any more than good enough for my arthritic fingers to grab onto anymore, so I want to create a better knurling job on them. But other than that, it's been a good steady rest. It's made out of 1/2-inch flat steel, two pieces that were basically had extensions welded onto them so that it hinges on this bolt here and locks with this bolt here. The original steady rest for the 6-inch was a solid machine piece of cast with a slot in it or an opening in it, and to use it you would have to remove one of the fingers or really back it off to get a workpiece out of it, whereas this one you can basically undo the nut, or the bolt rather, and open it up like a regular steady rest and remove the workpiece, do whatever you want to do, and then put it back in if you had to, without having to readjust all the fingers back. I'll show you a bit more of how I made it. Basically, these are just pieces of 3/8 flat steel. Everything was more or less bolted together or screwed together to hold it, other than a bit of welding that was done on the pivot here to create the pivot point and to create the locking point, and also to add the pieces that allow the fingers to slide back and forth. That was done to keep any warpage distortion down to a minimum. But anyhow, I'll get her mounted up here, and then you can have a better look at how it sits on the lathe. Okay, so here we've got it mounted on the lathe bed, and it uses a 7/16 wrench to loosen the locking bolts that hold the fingers, which can be moved back and forth, and then these are tightened. And also this here can be opened up, and that allows easy access to removing the workpiece. And then once you are done with that, you can lock it back up. And like I say, this can flex a little bit from what I've seen. So I want to try and take that out of it. Basically, the bottom part here kind of fits in between the carriages. It should, or in between the carriage, so the carriage can work up fairly close. Normally, if I'm working on something, the carriage would be on this side, If, say, I was working on the end of a shaft, and then basically you can get really close up to it since this is offset. As you can see, it's offset this way. And of course this can be reversed if you want it to be, so that you could do the same on this side if necessary. But I just thought I'd show it to you, give you an idea that not every accessory for the 6-inch lathe has to be store-bought or factory made. It's possible to make a steady rest that will perform decently and work without spending a lot of money. Like I say, there are some modifications that I want to try and do to it, and hopefully if I don't get too heavy a winter, I'll get time this winter to do that, and maybe show you what it looks like after I get done modifying. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and you have a great day.